Welcome back to Fire Emblem Awakening. Last time, we got to the Shepherd's garrison and met up with the rest of the Shepherds proper. This time, our cutscene's about to start immediately, so I'll just let that speak for itself. We're still on the North Road, it seems. And we've somehow been separated from all the others.
Oh. Huh?
It looks like a Pegasus.
What?
And considering that it already has blue armor, it must be one of ours. Crom isn't exactly that good with animals.
Pardon me.
But we have someone here who is. Well, not exactly. I'll explain in a bit.
Huh?
No, I think Mary Sue's been tampering with her boots telekinetically. That or Pegasi generally don't allow men to ride them.
Wait.
It's kind of a thing in the series. Apparently, Pegasi will only permit females to ride them.
Whoa.
Mary Sue's actually thinking, damn it, my attempt to murder Sumia with a psychotic Pegasus has failed.
Wow.
Good.
Well, in this case, being female helps. Again, Pegasi don't really like males riding them.
Well,
That or Lissa could just use a staff right now.
Hmm?
no.
Thank you.
Yes.
Meanwhile, her first murder plot having failed, Mary Sue starts to plot another attempt to kill the evil, to her, Sumia. So on the menu, we have some... Holy crap, Mary Sue and Crom are already at B? That did not happen my first playthrough. But Starl and Sully are at C, so let's go ahead and do that. By the way, you don't have to worry about getting C supports between pairs you don't plan on marrying with people who aren't Crom, because you don't have to worry about auto-marriage in that case. Your characters will only marry in those cases if you initiate the S support yourself, so unlike Fire Emblem 4, there is no risk of your characters getting married unless you specifically want them to.
Hell no.
Huh?
Well, Starl did get the least experience in the last chapter compared to Sully, so guess he is kind of a wimp.
What in the...
Then again, speaking of Starl being a wimp, he didn't dual strike her nearly enough in the last chapter, so Sully's gonna try and beat him into shape. And here we have the first of many callbacks to earlier Fire Emblem games in support conversations. One of the things that are really interesting about this game is that it was intended to be a celebration of the Fire Emblem series' anniversary, and because of that, there are a lot of little references to earlier games hidden within support conversations. This is one of the more obvious ones. Cain and Abel were the duo that started the Red Knight, Green Knight archetype, and they appeared in the very first Fire Emblem game. Now this line's a little interesting though for English speakers. The Bull and Panther titles, they were only mentioned in Mystery of the Emblem, which never got released outside Japan. Kind of funny that they kept this reference in the localization, and yet they removed a previous game reference that English fans definitely would have got more easily. Grumble, grumble, grumble. I'll talk about that one later.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, Starl's sort of a mellow one compared to her. Yeah, well, Starl kind of is pretty much the kitchen one in this relationship in a way. He's actually a pretty good cook, and Sully is, well, you'll see later. Well, I mean, the red one was the bull originally. And the green one was originally the panther. So, they are now at a sea support. And, oh great, this support is infamous. You'll see.
Hey.
So, it's just a normal day at the barracks. Crom was walking around trying to check on everyone. But Mary Sue isn't there. I wonder where she could be. He's yelling very loudly.
Oh.
Apparently, Mary Sue wants Crom to wait outside. Or does she? Why is it so steamy in here? Yeah. Once again, Crom is just the master of making things awkward in his support conversations.
Huh?
Crom, do you not know what a bath is?
No. Forgive me.
Really? I don't think it's really hard to misunderstand that situation. Someone asks you not to come in. It's really steamy in the room. What else could it possibly be? Ugh, Crom is a bit of a derp sometimes. Well, I guess that makes sense. The last time we went on the main road, we did get attacked by zombies.
Yeah.
Don't bring that up ever again.
Forgive me.
You know, part of me thinks that Mary Sue arranged the whole thing. She wanted him to see her like that. And thus, Mary Sue's attempt to get revenge on Sumia for some unknown reason by seducing Crom begins. And that's all the supports we can do, and there's nothing else we can do here. Nothing we can do in earlier chapters, so time to head on to this chapter, the Longfort, and we'll save first once again, because let's not go through those supports again. So, time to save, and let's get this chapter going. Chapter 3, Warrior Realm. This scene also looks very cool in 3D, and I know they say that all the time, and apparently Lissa is freebing, whatever that is. I'll bet this line is interesting if you're intending to pair Frederick and Lissa.
Oh.
Right.
So, essentially the Great Wall of Ferox.
Ah.
Oh, by the way, Ferox was called Felia in the Japanese version, which I guess I understand why they changed it, because that sounds like a very not a really tough, strong name for a warrior nation, so I understand why they changed it. Apparently it's ruled by the Khans. Great Khan. Genghis Khan. Yeah, that's a reference to another game that I played. So much ham in that game, but anyway. Oh, yeah. If you're going up, to a nation of warriors, diplomacy is totally the best solution. Negotiation's not my strong suit is actually the name of a song in the game as well. So, don't screw this up. And yet, he mentioned that negotiation was his strong suit. This is not going to end well.
My lord.
Considering that we have an actual, chapter here, and that means a battle, we all know how this is going to end, but let's see it go from bad to worse very quickly.
What?
Let's watch the magnificent disaster unfold.
Right.
And now, we finally have access to battle preparations. So, yep, loath as I am to trust her, Mary Sue gets control over this. And so, here we go. It's battle preparations time. So, On the menu, we can view the map, and that's what I like to do in every chapter. Now, I'm going to make this into my catchphrase, but this map does look very, very cool in 3D. We can view the map and notice that we have a couple of archers and some soldiers over here, so gotta be careful there. That guy's holding a door key, that'll be important later. We also have enemy armor knights, which look really ominous in this game. Just look at that portrait there. Faceless shellfish knights in big armor. Look at all that defense as well. Yeah, I'll explain how to go about fighting them once we get to it. Still more mercenaries, but these are human enemies, not risen zombies. This guy has a hammer. Frederick will need to be wary of him, but we are going to get the hammer if we take him down, so that's useful. Yet another armor knight. Few more, well, only one more archer. Mercenary, this guy, that mercenary has a door key. And we have a boss here, Raimi. Interestingly enough, we have not only our first boss who's not an axe user, we also have a rare example of a female armor knight in the entire series, and an even rarer example of a female armor knight who's actually a boss. That is very interesting. And hilariously enough, she has the indoor fighter skill, which is useless because this is an outdoor map. She also has a javelin, so she can attack from a long distance. And she's also on a gate, so she gains a lot of bonuses. We'll deal with her later. Next, equip skills is pointless since we don't really have nearly enough skills that equipping them would make much of a difference. Support, we can generally just view support conversations that we didn't view on the world map, but we've already covered that. Inventory, this is what I want to do. Finally, I can get rid of this Hector's axe that no one can use. Let's go ahead and trade this to Vake. Well, no, not swap it with someone. The inventory system is a bit weird in this game, so I'm going to go ahead and just store that and have Vake withdraw it from the convoy. Let's go to the Axes menu and take Hector's axe, even though we can't use it yet. What rank does it require? B. Okay. Yeah, it'll be a long time before Vake can wield that. But as for everyone else, I think their weapons are pretty much in order. The only one I'm a little concerned about is Lissa shouldn't really have that vulnerary, seeing as she doesn't really need to get into combat anyway. And Virion shouldn't need that elixir, so the elixir is going to go to... And Crom already has a vulnerary, so I'll just give that elixir to Mary Sue, actually. And the second vulnerary, I may give to Stahl or Sully. I'll give it to Sully since she has the worst defense. And now that we've done that, we need to select who we deploy for this mission. And for some reason, we're already forced to leave one character behind. Which is, yeah, kind of annoying here. Now, I went through this mission on a practice run and determined that there definitely was someone who I wanted to leave behind here. Crom is forced. Weirdly enough, Mary Sue is not required. In fact, you can leave her out of nearly every mission in the game. You'd be pretty stupid not to, seeing as she's an amazing unit, but oh well. Lissa, well, if we left Lissa out, we'd be in serious trouble without a healer, so no. Frederick is useful for the extra defense he provides, so I may as well bring him. Sully and Stahl, now normally I'd leave behind one of them because having two cavaliers at once is sort of redundant. However, since I intend to marry them, I want them both to be participating in as many battles as possible, and so I need to take them both. Vake, I want to bring him because of the hammer. He can use that to great effect if he manages to obtain it. And Muriel, leaving out Muriel of this mission is a very bad idea. Magic is very useful against the enemy armored unit, so I want to take her. As weird as it is, and as much as I like his character, I think Virion is the best character to leave behind in this mission, because archers aren't going to be so useful here, and he already is a higher level than everyone else. Now, on View Map, we can also shuffle around the positions of characters, and that's something that we'll need to do. Over here we have 2 archers and 2 lance users, so the Vake might want to go over that side. Muriel can really go wherever she wants. Crom, his position is fixed, we don't really need to do anything about him. And Frederick is kind of fine being roughly centrally allocated. Although, maybe I might want to swap Mary Sue there because we might need a little bit of extra support over this direction. Let's just say we may have more support once the chapter begins. Hint, hint. Anyway, we can also save on the preparation screen, which is what I'm going to do here. And with that, it's time to fight.
Who goes there?
And yes, this generic boss actually has voice acting. Well, considering that the enemies are already listed as red, we already know that we're going to have a battle on our hands.
Halt!
Wait.
It's all going to be one giant misunderstanding, isn't it?
What?
Well, that's bad.
Right.
Oh! I think we've had some bandits posing as us. That's going to cause some serious problems. Yeah, we haven't even heard of Valm yet, but anyway. Really? Crom should have very easy means of proving that he's royalty. But in Ferox, strength on the battlefield matters more than anything. We're going to have to fight to prove ourselves. But of course, Emeren's not going to like this. But again, you'd think Crom would have some kind of way to prove that he was really Crom. Uh-oh. A cutscene?
Sumia.
Better hold on tight, Captain. Could get bumpy.
Right.
You'll be fine.
Sumia!
Right.
And it's waifu to the rescue.
Listen.
And yes, this is indeed the same Pegasus, so that was a Chekhov's Pegasus. Yeah, well, Mary Sue thought that she'd try and kill you. She was very wrong.
Good.
Yeah, looks like that backfired on Mary Sue very badly. Speaking of which, I suspect that Mary Sue paid off those Ferox enemies to try and kill Sumia as well. And yes, even their Pegasus ships them.
Crom!
If you look very closely at the screen, you'll notice that Crom and Sumia are already paired up. And there's a very good reason for this. Okay, and we're explaining how Pegasus Knights works. Yes, Pegasi have very high movement ranges and can fly pretty much wherever they want, unimpeded by terrain. However, arrows will shred them very, very quickly. And this is a major problem because we're surrounded by archers from the very start. So at the moment, Sumia will need to keep hidden. But speaking of which... To find out more about Sumia, click the annotation, and it's kind of important, seeing as Sumia is one of Crom's potential love interests, obviously. However, sadly, I am not allowed to use her in this playthrough at Mary Sue's behest. As you can see though, Archer there, Archer there, Archer there. Keep Sumia out of range of those. Very far out of range. Anyway though, we're not actually getting the tutorial just yet. The tutorial will come up later, but I'll just say that this whole cutscene between the two of them is fairly unique for a number of reasons. Well, for one, the cutscene itself is actually called... Oh, I can't even get into those... Oh, I can't get into that. No, I can't. That's annoying. The cutscene itself is actually called Lovebirds in the American version. Weirdly enough, though, this was actually changed to The Rescue in the European version. Yeah, the fangirls hating on the Crom-Sumia pairing was so great they actually had to change the name of the cutscene just to appease them. Ugh. Anyway, I'm not saying that all Crom and female Avatar fans hate Sumia, but there are a few pretty psychotic ones. Then again, every ship in existence has its psychotic fans, so whatever. Anyway, though, we have some lance users here and a couple of archers. We don't want to move too far into enemy range here. We kind of want to bottleneck the area and let the enemies come to us. So because of that, I'm actually going to do this. There's no rules against pairing up Sumia in this mission. And I'm going to use Frederick as a bit of a meat shield here. I'm not actually going to use him in combat, but I am going to use him to block off this area, just to make sure that no enemies can get through. Although there is a sort of a 3-wide area there, so kind of got to watch that. But anyway, now I'm going to do this, and let's not move Crom just yet. Firstly, I'm going to have to protect Muriel. She's probably best paired up with Lissa, honestly, but Vake needs a couple of boosts, especially that one to skill. But he's not going to like getting shot by archers. So I'm going to move Vake around there. And I think that's pretty much all we need to do in this turn. Doesn't seem like there's much else really to do here. I mean, I haven't moved Crom yet, but let's just see. I mean, I guess some enemies over here could attack him and do some relatively decent damage, but I mean, certainly... Huh? Where'd that talk option come from? Oh well, what happens if I select it?
Hmm?
Yeah, this is weird. I feel like I'm missing something.
Don't you see me?
Oh, hi! Didn't notice you there, Kellum.
Huh?
What?
Yeah, apparently Kellum has been with us the whole time.
Forgive me.
But he's so quiet that he generally doesn't stand out all that much, despite the fact that he wears a giant clanking suit of armor.
You know me.
Really?
Well, this makes Kellum pretty good at stealth. And so we have someone who works very effectively as a meat shield. And he already starts with a javelin, which is nice. I'll actually equip that so he can counterattack archers. Now, make sure Lissa's protected, and hopefully this all goes well. Okay, good.
Mind yourself.
I hope not many enemies attack him, but as long as this one does, he should be getting decent enough experience. I'm actually kind of glad for no dual strike there, and oh, that's annoying, yeah.
Vanished.
Oh, that's bad, please don't. Okay, good, that wasn't a 1% critical, that would have been awful if it was. Ah,
My strength is yours.
1% critical as well. But as you can see, Armor Knights take very little damage from enemy attacks, and with Crom's Dual Strike Plus skill, he's able to participate in a Dual Strike with Kellum despite not even being paired up with him. Nice. And he levels up into the bargain. That was pretty much a win-win situation. And this was why I equipped the Javelin. Now, Javelins are extremely weak in this game in terms of might. They may as well be made of rubber. But they do let you counterattack against archers, and that's pretty much the main thing they're good for at this point in the game. Later on in the game, we'll get much better throwing spears than javelins, but I don't know why they nerfed javelins and hand axes so much in the Fire Emblem series. I mean, it's not like they were, like, broken or anything. Okay, a dual guard would be very appreciated right about now. Yeah, it was a little too good to be true. And here is that tutorial that I was talking about.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about how I want to murder her.
Really?
I see.
So, this is where you get your official tutorial to the pair-up mechanic of this game. And here's where things get a little interesting. I'll hopefully be able to talk while... Okay, good, I double that guy. It's generally best to kill as many enemies as possible here. Ah, 1 damage off. Although... Okay, let's see if I can take this guy out. Anyway, so if you're playing on normal mode, this is the point where, to unfortunately have to use other M terminology, this is the point where you are officially authorized to use the pair-up system, if you haven't disabled the tutorial. If you have, you can use the pair-up system at any time, but if not, then yeah, this is the first time where you'll have access to it. I am a little, extremely worried about Muriel here. But let's see how much damage she takes from these guys. If only one enemy will be able to attack her, Muriel should be safe. I just want her to get more experience here than Vake, because she's one level below at this point. Oh, by the way, I am actually not intending to pair Muriel and Vake at all. I'm just pairing them up now because, well, they were spare, and I just kind of needed someone to... Yeah, protect Muriel. Anyway.
It's all right.
Lance that guy with Kellum. And now there's only one enemy here, and he can't attack our healer, which is good. We've got a lot of pressure being put on Stahl here. Actually, as much as she has more experience, switching to Sully and using a Lance is probably our best option at this point.
No worries. It can't be.
Enemies actually have full voice-acted lines sometimes, which is kind of amusing. And I think I'll leave it at that, because I can't heal anyone with Lissa without her getting shot. Speaking of getting shot, you're attacking someone who can do a lot of damage to you back. Is that okay with you? Oh, that would have been awesome if Vake had dual striked. Dual struck, whatever, however you say it.
Come on.
And it would have been awesome if Sully, Stahl had dual struck. Wow, very nice. Very, very nice there, Sully. Let's just hope that she doesn't overtake Stahl completely.
Let's do this.
One of these two could really use a javelin now that I think about it. I kind of like keeping it on Kellum for this chapter, though. Later on, I might want to change it. Oh no, you're doing a whopping 1 damage. I'm so scared. Anyway, this guy has a door key, so we'll want to be careful who takes him out. Although in this case, I kind of want Muriel to do it. Burn to the ground!
Knock 'em silly.
Asinine knave.
I love that quote. Okay, Muriel is now officially caught up to everyone. I am a little annoyed she didn't gain speed in any of her level ups, though. That is kind of... yeah, but we got the door key. Yeah, make sure that you get this door key on someone who is going to be going this direction, because otherwise this chapter can be very annoying. We need a door key to unlock these doors. So, pretty much exactly what it says on the tin. Let's get Stahl a bit more experience.
Got you covered.
I'm playing a little bit defensively here, but I sort of like to do that at this point. And normally I would be wanting to gain experience for Sumia at this point in the game, but actually I just equipped Frederick's Silver Lance, so I might not want to do that. Anyway, Lissa is pretty much safe there, so let's just get her a little bit of... okay, actually she can go ahead here and heal.
Why, thank you.
This chapter's kind of annoying because I prefer to split up my army here, but in that case you'll have 2 groups and only 1 healer, so moving Lissa between the 2 groups gets kind of exhausting, and that's where these vulneraries can be sort of helpful. Use them if you need to heal. But it's generally best to designate one half of your army to go each way.
Quick and dirty. I like it.
That is one of Sully's more questionable lines, but okay.
Let's end this.
See, Lissa's now more needed along this side of the battlefield. And that's our tutorial on support, which I already explained earlier. Yeah, funny Crom is explaining supports in the chapter Sumia joined, hint hint. Anyway, right, let's see if I can... I would really like to be doubling those guys, but oh well.
Go, go!
So they're nearly both level 4, and we have the door key on that side. And speaking of that side, Lissa needs to get over there pronto. And we have a bit of an uneven split here, though, so I guess this should be alright. Actually, sending both Mary Sue and Muriel down the same side is a little redundant, so I'm actually going to send Crom back this way. And move this guy around here. And I don't really care where I move Frederick.
Go for it.
Yeah, often I just like skipping battle scenes that involve archers that we can't counterattack. It's just a bit pointless to watch them. And here's the problem. I can't exactly weaken that guy without using Sumia, or can I? Okay, trade, bronze sword, hit. Really? I double attack him, really? And now that I've done a trade, I can't actually, And Sumia will kill that guy, wow, okay. Oh, that's annoying. That's really annoying. You have 15 attack. I'm probably going to have to use Sully here, actually. Okay, a dual strike would be very much appreciated at this point. Come on, dual strike.
No worries.
Come on, you're at a C support. You should be dual striking more often.
Gotcha.
There we go, finally.
Thanks.
Oh, and it wasn't enough to level up Stahl, but oh well, at least that means that Lissa is now officially safe. And can heal that 1 HP of damage that Frederick suffered. I know this is kind of a waste of a heal staff, but it's 20 experience anyway. Okay, haven't moved these guys yet. Gotta watch out, though. There's an armor knight up there. I'm gonna have to use Muriel to unlock the door. And doing that means you can't take any further actions, so no switching to Vake there, who would generally be better at combating that knight. But I can block him off with
So rudimentary.
this guy. Yeah, this guy. Yeah, I'm blocking him off with this guy. Okay, a dual strike there would have been amazing, but oh well. Now, heal, please. Heal, 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 heal.
Let's end this.
And who has the door key? You do. That's perfect, because now I can go here, switch them over, and then have him get healed next turn. Meanwhile, I kind of want him to give the bronze sword back, and you two are going to go over here. Meanwhile, got to be careful of provoking these guys. Notice that this guy is already level 5, so probably best to give the others some screen time. Now, remember how I said that I'd explaining how to do massive damage to Armor Knights? Well, here's how. Armor Knights have amazingly good defense. However, they are very slow and have very bad resistance. Therefore, they are utterly devastating. They are devastated by magic users like Muriel.
Teach us right here. It's fake time.
Very gracious of you.
And that there is why Vake and Ryan seriously need to meet up sometime. Anyway, though, gotta be a little careful here, because we don't want to provoke all these enemies. Since the healer isn't on that side, I'm gonna go ahead and use a vulnerary. And nothing's happening.
Very nice.
Lissa's healing a tiny bit more due to gaining a bit more experience. And strength again? Wow! Okay, yeah, Lissa really wants to show that she's not delicate. Oh, there's an armor there, and he is going to be a little tough to take out. You know, I don't want Crom and Mary Sue to get that. Extra training, okay. And weapon proficiency improved. We haven't actually seen one of the effects of the event tiles at this point, which is kind of weird. Anyway, I'm gonna go at... you know what, can I trade the door key to Sully and then switch to her? Because she'd be better at taking on that knight, but Stahl needs more experience. Actually, I can open the door from Stahl's inventory. That I didn't realize. Or not. I'm confused now. Okay, yeah, these two. I want to make sure that I provoke these sets of enemies at the same time. So for now... Oh boy, Vake definitely needs some healing. Okay, switch to Vake, take that Vulnerary, and use it now.
Get it together.
And yes, pretty much anyone is going to double attack enemy armored units because they are extremely slow.
Save some for me.
Showing me up?
And with dual strikes, you can get a really good string of attacks going against those guys. Yes, dual strikes can double as well, just like regular attacks. And other weapon properties apply to dual strikes as well, which we'll be seeing much, much later in the game. Anyway, though, Crom's going to go up here. It's a shame, I wanted to try out an effective one of Crom's weapons. Just to show you the other easy way to take down Armor Knights, but at the moment... I think now is the time to lure these enemies, and for that reason, I'm going to need to equip Kellum's Javelin, because there's an archer there, and I'm going to need to go here and equip myself, I mean not equip myself, use another Vulnerary. Then, let's see, they're both relatively caught up to each other at this point, so, okay, you have a range of that. Yeah, I don't exactly want to get in range of that archer just yet. And, oh, Frederick's down here. Oh no! One sword user is attacking an armor guy. So yeah, what I said about Armor Knights being very easy to double, that applies to yours as well.
Not this time.
Unless that happens, wow, nice dual guard, Vake. They aren't even supported.
Go, go!
Oh, no dual strike that time, that's annoying.
Enter the Vake.
Oh, a dual strike would have been useful there. Now, like I said before, watch out for that hammer guy around Frederick. Frederick is classed as an armored unit as well as a mounted unit, and hammers are effective against them. As you can see, that guy's going to kill level 1 Frederick instantly, which is very, very not good, for lack of a better term. 12 times 2. 13 times 2, that's enough exactly.
Are you ready? My turn.
Here's how it's done.
My general goal here is to get everyone up to around level 5 by the end of this chapter, which shouldn't be too hard. Now think about that hammer. It's D-ranked, which means that Frederick himself can actually use it. Weirdly enough, actually Vake can use it too. I'm thinking of Board and Cord from New Mystery of the Emblem, who, for some reason, one of them couldn't even use hammers, but anyway. Okay, we have an archer there, we have a sword user. Am I going to double attack that archer? No, I am not. Okay then, style is still a tiny bit behind on experience. So let's go ahead and take this guy down.
Quick and dirty. I like it.
Well, he certainly didn't like it. The enemy, I mean. And let's go ahead and... Oh yes, by the way, like many other Fire Emblem games, your supply convoy is attached to your main character, in this case, Chrom. So basically, if you move next to Chrom, you'll be able to store or retrieve items from your convoy. And I want to give the bronze sword back, because I'm kind of going to be needing it relatively soon. Possibly. Now we have to deal with the enemies on this side. That axe user makes me a little nervous. Okay, let's see. Kind of want to take this guy down. Only because
Right behind you.
he'll be the toughest for Vake. And level up! Whoa! Okay, yeah! That was amazing! That was really amazing! You deserve to be noticed for that, Kellum. And let's just chop this guy down.
Mind yourself.
And another level up. Nice one. Whoa, what is it with all these level ups? And yes, Vake is invincible, apparently. These level ups are getting amazing at the moment. And for some reason he attacked Vake. And I know that Vake's going to take a lot of nice dodge, Vake.
I could have done that.
Well, I was about to say that Vake can't shoot fireballs out of his hands, but considering the level up he just got, I wouldn't put it past him.
Time to tip the scales.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yes.
Mary Sue, stop hogging all the crits and all the experience. And I think that is everyone gone except the boss. That went quickly. Okay, who needs a quick heal? Our healing staff is running low on uses, but thankfully we will soon be able to get more. Oh, even Lissa's level 4. We're all level 4 to 5 at this point. Vake, okay, Muriel's still 3 though, but Muriel will get a chance to shine very, very soon. Actually, maybe we should do this. Please be a good axe. Oh hey, a present from one of Vake's fans? What is it? Walt's bow! Based off of Walt from Fire Emblem 6, it's a pretty decent bow that you can use like a vulnerary for some reason. And it's C ranked, so I was about to say I want to check if Virion can use it, but Virion isn't here, so I can't check his ranks. Anyway though, let's move on in. Now, normally in a lot of Fire Emblem games, those stairs should be setting off alarm bells in your head about reinforcements. Thankfully, there are no reinforcements in this chapter. At least not that I know of. I don't think there are any on Lunatic mode. And yes, Vake's inventory is full of weapons that he can't use. Another heal. 1 HP, but every little bit helps. And now it's on to the boss. She has a javelin, which means her attack power is relatively low, but she makes up for that with a very high strength stat. Her skill is nothing to sneeze at either, but her speed is absolutely pathetic. Her defense, being an armored unit, is enormous, and she combines that with massive HP and healing every turn from being on a gate. However, like seriously, just look at this. We're not going to be doing very much damage to her. Now, it was funny, in one of my practice runs, she actually got a 1% critical on me. It didn't do much, but still. Now, remember that other thing I said about armored units? Well, there's another weapon that's effective against them. If I were to switch, Crom's Rapier is effective against armored enemies. In this case, this translates to it doing relatively normal damage. The Falchion does absolutely nothing. So, yeah, it's either magic or rapiers or a hammer that you want to use against... Who has the hammer, by the way? Mary Sue. They can use that hammer, so it's a good thing to give it to him. And Mary Sue's going to go over here because I don't want to decimate this girl, I was about to say guy, too quickly. Okay, Sully's at 40. Let's just see if I can... Yeah, let's just wait there.
Come on. And one for me.
Yeah, unfortunately, Stahl doesn't hurt her at all, but at least that Dual Strike does give them a bit of a bonus to their support. And I can't exactly heal them with Lissa because, yeah, Raimi has a Javelin, which means that she can attack from long range. Speaking of attacking from long range, Muriel is generally a very good option against her, but you have to watch out because Muriel will take some pretty severe damage. Best to let her wait in the boss's range rather than actually come after the boss herself. And let's just retreat and heal for a bit of extra experience.
Thanks.
One more heal and Lissa's going to be level 5. which is pretty good. We're pretty much around 4.5 to 5 as far as levels go. And yes, Raimi does heal every turn.
Enter the vein. Free for all.
Wow, even axes only do 3 damage to her. But Muriel has leveled up her tome rank. Oh, Thunder's still an E rank. Fire is a little weaker than Thunder, but it's a bit more accurate. And since Muriel is attacking from long range,
Very gracious of you.
Lissa can heal her without putting herself in any danger. And once again, Lissa apparently doesn't get strength. So, the first time that she hasn't got that, but her stats are getting pretty decent overall. Now, Raimi takes relatively little damage from your attacks and heals herself every turn. This is pretty much the first boss in the game that's susceptible to a relatively frowned upon tactic in the Fire Emblem community known as boss abuse. Boss abuse consists of attacking the same boss repeatedly. I'm going to go ahead and take that hammer though. And gaining tiny amounts of experience every time, and letting them heal off the damage. Thus, you can effectively grind your characters very slowly and tediously like that. It's doable, but like I said, Lunatic Mode, in my difficulty differences video, actually has precautions against boss abuse, which is kind of interesting. It shows that the developers are well aware of this phenomenon. Chrom actually needs a bit of experience, I just noticed. But I'm not going to boss abuse here.
Careful now.
I wouldn't subject you to that torture. So as much as I could do it, there's 2 ways I could end this. I could either smash her face in with Vake's hammer. Hammers have relatively low accuracy, but yeah, 1 blow will deal a lot of damage. Or, well, firstly, I could heal someone with Lissa. Gonna just do this because healing Stal and Sully would be a bit risky if I don't actually finish the boss. Or I could have Chrom finish it off, but Muriel does need the experience the most, so... Okay, let's go ahead and stack supports on her, just in case. Actually, can I do this? I'm guessing this is a lot of support bonuses. Hopefully.
Look alive.
Oh, no crit. Anyway, the boss is down. Yes, we proved our claims by fireballing her in the face. Pretty much what you'd expect from a magic user. Hey, once again, Sully and Stal were the heroes. And yes, interestingly enough, the generic boss didn't die. Again, a rarity for generic bosses in the series.
Forgive me.
I mean, come on, you wouldn't think they'd kill off someone who wasn't really evil, just misguided, at least at this point in the game. So, we've earned her respect.
Good.
And in case you're wondering, no, she doesn't join our army, sadly.
Wow.
Right.
So, yes, Ferox is basically the, if you want to prove yourself, prove it in battle country. The proud warrior race guy nation, essentially.
Right.
No, it's not. Well, unless you have access to Muriel's fire tome. And yes, the boss certainly did find herself getting warmer. But anyway, that's the end of that chapter, so I'll see you next time for the next part of Fire Emblem Awakening. See you then! I get this feeling I'm forgetting something. No, it's probably nothing. Oh, alright, if you want to find out more about Kellum, click the annotation.